Hi, I'm Josiah.
And I'm Colin.
And this is Worth Watching. Alright, so I got this idea for a movie. It's a World War II film like Saving Private Ryan, but it's also like Ocean's 11, and in fact we've got George Clooney and Matt Damon to star.
Wait, what? Alright, welcome back to another week of Worth Watching. Today we'll be reviewing Monuments Men starring Matt Damon and George Clooney.
So this movie is based on a true story about a group of art historians during World War II who were sent over into enemy territory to save a whole bunch of art that was at risk of being destroyed by either the Allies or the Axis, which is all of the firefights and bombing going on there. And they were sent over there to protect the art to make sure that it didn't all get lost in this huge war. Now, if that plot sounds kind of weird, it's because the true story was kind of weird, and the movie treats it in sort of that quirky kind of way, where you have sort of the feeling of like an Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 kind of vibe of this fast-paced, clever dialogue, more lighthearted feel, but also intermingled with a more serious World War II type things going on.
Sure.
Which I think the movie actually handled pretty well overall.
When I watched the trailer, it looked like there was going to be a little bit more action sequences in it, but actually, I don't think I'm glad how they handled it, because, as you said, it is kind of like a very quirky, weird assignment that you would receive as a soldier, and these guys were art architects, so they weren't soldiers that were fighting on the front lines, so they really weren't trained and ready for
And they
combat.
weren't really in places where there was a lot of fighting. They were kind of dodging in and out trying to get the art and stuff. And again, I think some people may be upset at how lighthearted parts of this movie come off, but really I thought it was a really different take on sort of a World War II film and what was going on there.
What more would they have been able to do, though? I mean, you really couldn't turn this into a very deep, heartfelt movie.
Right, and I think if you tried to make it too dramatic, it would come off really heavy-handed.
Yeah, and I mean the sarcasm and the sass and the feel from everybody's character, they had like just enough comedy, scenes throughout.
Yeah, and that's something with this movie that I really appreciate, was I found myself laughing really hard for a lot of this movie. I wouldn't say it's a straight-up comedy, but it definitely has a comedy element in there. The dialogue in this movie is supremely well written. Yeah. It really does feel like, I hate to say it again, but it feels like an Ocean's 11 type movie. Where
the acting was great.
Yep, the acting was really good as well. Now, granted, of course, George Clooney's playing George Clooney.
Sure.
Matt Damon's playing Matt Damon, but everyone fits their character really well, and they're just so entertaining to watch.
It kind of felt like they were just like, very casual, laid back kind of acting, but it worked very well.
Yeah.
I have a favorite scene in this movie, and it's actually when they're in one of these salt mines collecting art, and Matt Damon seems to have stepped on a mine, and George Clooney comes running in, and Matt Damon looks at him and says, "I seem to have stepped on a mine," and he just looks at him and goes, "Why would you do that?" Then, Bill Murray and
John Goodman
come in, and they say the exact same thing. "Why would you do that?" And just really funny, but kind of innocent, too.
And it's all just in the way that it's said. It's so funny and perfectly, it's timed perfectly as well. I think part of what makes this movie really work is the actors.
Yeah.
Again, there are these actors who are known for playing sort of quirky, sassy, comic kind of roles, and that carries over really well into the tone of the movie.
It does.
And just works really well with it. Quite possibly my favorite actor in this movie is someone who I haven't seen in a lot of stuff before, Jean Dujardin. He is phenomenal in this movie. Everything I've seen him in so far, I love the guy. He is great. He just has such charisma in everything that he does. If there was a French James Bond, he should play the French James Bond, because he's such a great actor. Yeah. And you love watching him. He steals every scene that he's in.
Le name is Bond? James Bond.
Exactly.
One of the things I wasn't too fond of was the pacing. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
Right. It was kind of loose.
There
were moments where you were kind of confused
focused
as to where it was going. Yeah. A little bit of a lack of direction, things going on.
Exactly. One of the really big things I liked was actually, I've never heard of the Monuments Men before.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that a group of guys actually exist they were set on this mission to try and salvage this lost art. Yeah,
and it's a really fascinating, interesting story, one that you realize has a lot of importance once you hear about it.
It does.
And that for some odd reason you've never heard of before. All in all, though I did really enjoy the film, I can really understand why they did decide to bump it from Oscar season of 2013 to spring of 2014, because there's no way it could have competed with just the slew of great movies we had coming out towards the end of 2013. So it makes sense that they moved it where it did. If you go into it looking as this is a 2013 Oscar movie before they bumped it, you're going to be disappointed. But if you go into it looking for just a February movie, you're going to be extremely happy with what you find. Because the movie is a great film.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun
Very
to watch.
enjoyable.
Yeah. What would you give this movie on a scale of A through F?
You know, I'm just going to give it a flat B. It wasn't great, it wasn't terrible, just very enjoyable and fun to watch. So, again, flat B.
Yeah, I would definitely give it a straight, right up the middle B. I really enjoyed it. Again, it had flaws. I don't think it's for everyone, but I liked it and I would see it again. I would recommend it, but again, not perfect, but a very good February movie.
All right, thanks for watching another episode of Worth Watching. Leave a like if you liked the video, leave a comment below on what your thoughts were of the movie, and subscribe if you want to see more.
Bye.
Bye.